This is what one of my videos looks like under the new EU copyright mandate. It's a very safe 4-minute video taken on my phone looking out my back window, and it's a very dubious quality. It was taken at 11:30 a.m. on Wednesday the 20th of June, the day that the European Parliament could very well have destroyed the internet. Before I begin, I need to stress that this video and this issue affects everybody. If you use the internet in any capacity for work, play or education, you are now seriously at risk of being censored, monitored and blindfolded when using the internet moving forward. The reason I'm doing this is to see what it's like producing content on the EU's new internet, to abide by these rules using only what I have available to me. If any of you have seen my previous content, you'll notice it's a bit of a contrast to what's come before. This is thanks to a new mandate passed in European Parliament today, which up until now has been barely touched by the media in terms of exposure and coverage. And even when it has been covered, it's been presented as a joke for the most part, with some news websites simply saying that memes are now under threat because of these new rules. There's obviously much more to it than that. I'd love to quote some news articles that put this into perspective and give what I'm saying some validity, but I can't. Under these new rules, if you want to quote or include the work of a writer or journalist, for instance, you have to pay for a license to reproduce their work online. And that's assuming you can even get one. And that's in any capacity, by the way, be it a review, a parody, or even just genuine news reporting. It doesn't take a genius to figure out the can of worms that this opens in regards, say for instance, fake news and foreign interference in political and social movements, as we'll more than likely see an abundance of articles under these restrictions with zero sources from both small and medium-sized outlets. It's going to be really hard to filter the shit from the truth, and it's difficult enough as it is, as you're all aware. Now, this has already been implemented to a certain extent in Germany and Spain, and it's been shown that it annihilates smaller press outlets and serves only to bolster the archaic old guard, stretching their reach out even further. This brings me to Article 13, which is really the guts of this new mandate. Article 13 is a directive that proposes a filtering system for online platforms. In English, that basically means that anything users like you and me send to the internet will now be passed through an algorithm that will scan it for copyrighted material. It's very similar to the system used by YouTube to detect copyrighted material in people's videos. The same system that blocked a video a while back that included birds chirping in the background because some mad avant-garde band had a song that included birds chirping in the background. An algorithm doesn't have the judgment capabilities of a human being. And even then, how would you feel about a human poring over every single message, picture, video, or piece of audio that you send to every person and website on the internet? This might seem like some doomsday Orwellian worst case scenario hell on earth picture I'm painting here, but it isn't. It's the reality of the situation, and it's the consequence of the pressure that has been put on legislators to protect the intellectual properties of massive companies like Disney, for instance. Another huge issue is the cost of implementing such a system for smaller companies. Basically, any website that displays user content, so say for even comments, will now have to implement these measures, with an estimated recurring cost of about 60 to 100,000 euros. This alone will cripple startups and small businesses that might even have to forego having an online presence entirely based on these new rules. Right now, there's really only 4 companies that can afford to implement such a system on such a large scale: Facebook, Google, Apple, and Microsoft. That's 4 private American companies with total access to everything you send to the internet as a European citizen. That's not okay. I want to pose a hypothetical situation for a moment, just as an example. Let's say there's an election next week, and we'll call him Jimmy Buffett, right? Jimmy Buffett is running for office, okay? Now, in the meantime, let's say a video emerges of him doing something distasteful, okay? Saying something or doing something that could really jeopardize his position. Under these new rules, there's absolutely nothing stopping him, even if it's false, from filing a copyright claim on that video, right? And stopping it from getting out, basically. It'd be taken down, you wouldn't see it. You wouldn't hear about it, you wouldn't see it. So That way then the election could continue and the kind of all the legal proceedings and all that shit could kind of go on behind the scenes. As I said before, the issue stretches far and wide, but memes are almost the perfect example, at least personally. Who doesn't like a good meme? Those who know me know that I do, and I'm not talking your cool minion memes for moms. I'm talking about that weird stuff that your weird Facebook friend posts at 3 in the morning. I'm that friend, okay? Well, believe it or not, memes are actually a breach of these new rules, as often they include pictures of celebrities, cartoon characters, politicians, and company logos. If the algorithm detects those, it doesn't make it through. Now, it might seem inconsequential, but memes are a genuine form of creative expression these days, and they are just one example of how internet culture has shaped how we communicate as people. By stifling this kind of creativity and transformative work in general, you homogenize and dull the internet down to what is basically a spreadsheet designed by some chap in San Francisco with all of your data in it. We'll lose that connection to the people we follow and communicate with online. And it's that online connection that we have that has given rise and given strength to some of the most important social movements of the last 10 years. Movements like Me Too and the Repeal the Eighth movement here in Ireland, which had serious virality online thanks to its campaigners. For me, I pride myself in the videos and the music that I make. And the ability to share it freely online is what drives me and thousands of others forward on a day-to-day basis. It's what gets us through the grind, the hard times, and it's what we like to do. The thought of not being able to do that anymore genuinely scares me, as my love for doing this stuff has gotten me through some really shitty stages, and it continues to do so. And I don't want to even think about losing that. Thankfully, there is still a chance for the open internet to live on. There's another round of voting in July, okay? Which is just enough time for everyone, young and old, to contact their local MEP, their Minister of European Parliament, and let them know that you want a free, open, and unmonitored internet that caters for everybody and doesn't put the needs of old fucking white guys in badly fitted suits over the entire European Union's internet connection. I'll include links in the video description so that you can go and do this. Please, please, please do this. Do this so we can continue to have our voices heard, whether it be for fun or for our future. Thank you.